Okay, so this is question 11 of the test review. So we're going to start out with finding our mean and standard deviation for this data up here. It's given us a proportion and it's our mean of p hat, so that's our proportion, so it just stays the same number, which all of those are the same. And then to find our standard deviation, we need to use an equation. I'm going to show you guys that. This is the formula sheet. And if we go down to chapter 8, it's this equation right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in. This equation. So the square root of p times 1 minus p over n. So we're going to do that on this calculator right here. Oops. Okay, so we have p 0.52 times parentheses 1 minus 0.52, and then divide that by our n, which is 1,000, and then we want the square root of that number. So it's this one right there. Okay, and now we get to use a calculator, and we said that it was normal, so that means we're going to use a normal calculator. So 0.52 for our mean, our standard deviation is 0.0158, and then this is the part that's kind of different. So we got to remember that we're using a proportion mean, and so that means that we have to put this into a proportion, because if I put exactly what that says right there, it's going to give me 0, which we know isn't it, and that's because if you're trying to find 540 to be your mean when your mean is 0.52, that doesn't really make sense. And so you have to do it a proportion. And so how we do that is we do this x number divided by our n size. In this problem, it's out of 1,000, so that makes the math pretty easy, but I'm still going to do it by calculator just because sometimes it's not out of 1,000, and so I would recommend doing it longhand so that if on the test it's harder math, you know how to do it. So it's just 540 divided by your n, so 0.54. And then you're going to do the same thing here. Make sure to pay attention to your sign. The sign will be the exact same that it shows. It's just your proportion that you change, or your x number that you plug in. So we're going to do 490 divided by 1,000 now. And there we go. Let me know if you have any other questions with any other things.